one thing you have to understand, Parvinder, there is a huge majority of students who think they have the skills, but they generally don't.
Hey guys, welcome to Cast. I'm your host Parvinder, and today we are launching our very first episode, Cyber Start. In this episode, we'll be talking more about how, as a fresher, you can step up into the market and build your career in cybersecurity. Because we know these days, especially in cybersecurity, there is this norm going on. If you have no experience, you will get no job. So it is really difficult for freshers to get a job. Exactly for this reason, we are inviting on our panel Aditya Anand. He's a founder of SecureU and in this field from last 8 years. And he will be sharing with us his insight how he started his journey and how as a fresher you can do the same. So by the end of this podcast, we make sure that you know what kind of skill set you require and what it takes to step up into the cybersecurity so that you are 100% sure that you want to do this or not. And if this is insightful for you and this help you to build your career, make sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel because I will be bringing a lot more founders and insightful people who will be talking a lot about different niches. So let's not waste our time and bring Aditya on the panel. Hey Aditya, welcome to the panel.
Hi.
Okay, Aditya. So I already gave a quick introduction to everyone about you. Like, if you
Uh,
introduce yourself, that would be great as well.
sure. So, hey everyone, I'm Atand, and of course, as Parvinder mentioned, that I'm the CEO at SecureU. I also run another company called Course Lab, and both of these companies are focused specifically upon cybersecurity. Where in SecureU we are more focused upon cybersecurity services, whereas in the Course Lab company we are building a endpoint protection product which is called Sentinus, and so that is what we have been doing for the past 4+ years now. And of course, before that, I have been working, and also I was in the cybersecurity field working for around 4 years before that. So around 8 years of experience overall.
That's great. Okay, Aditya, before we deep down, deep dive into the things that we are about to
Yeah.
discuss, I want to know, like, what's the thing that sparked your curiosity into cybersecurity? Out of all the fields, why cybersecurity?
Okay, so for me, cybersecurity was something that it was supposed to be brag worthy. Like
Okay.
in the sense, so first of all, for me to understand that when I got into cybersecurity it was as early as in class fourth and fifth.
Hmm.
So once you understand that, then you also understand that what exactly a child of that age thinks about. He wants to be
Yeah.
cool in front of his friends. He wants to show off and do all that stuff.
Hmm.
And the thing is that for that point of time, one of the most cool things was that, of course, internet was up and coming. Sites like Orkut, Facebook was barely new,
Yeah.
uh, and at that point of time, the most cool thing was that, okay, hey, everyone was getting on the internet, specifically in the place where I was, and
Hmm.
so the idea was pretty simple that, hey, what can be the cool thing to do, right? Like sports, yeah,
Okay.
everyone does that, right? Like for
Uh,
me, the new cool thing for that age and at that point of time was something to do with internet. And with internet, like the next cool thing was that, okay, hey, can we hack into stuff? Like we knew what the word hacking mean, but
okay.
at the same time we were like very excited that can we do this, can I get access to Parvinder's Orkut account, like can I do something like that, right? That's the whole idea.
Hmm.
Or like like who is dating whom and stuff like that. And the only like a secret way or like a secret thief as in such was that, okay, can you be a hacker. And when I realized that, like right now for me at that point of time,
Hmm.
that really triggered that interest for me, because like if I can be a hacker, I can be the cool guy of the class, right?
Oh,
That's
okay.
how it started. But of course, like the story is like that's the beginning of it. But at the same time, what happened was, I'll take you through like one of the first hacks that I did, and then it takes through the whole journey of exactly why I was interested in cybersecurity or like in hacking in general, and then
Okay.
exactly how that interest converted from hacking into like a proper cybersecurity career.
Sure,
And
you
so
can.
what happened was,
Hmm.
yeah, so sorry to interrupt there, but like what happened was that, like, once I got into this, of course,
Hmm.
interest started that, okay, you know what, like we have to learn about hacking, like how does that work,
Hmm.
like go on internet forums and all these forums at that point of time to figure out stuff.
Okay.
And the thing was that, like, I still remember, like, one of the first hacks that I was carried out was, like, it was Facebook just had come out,
Hmm.
and browsers and all these are also like very new features, like Chrome and all, I think is just coming out at that point of time.
Hmm.
And what happened was that, like, I was not allowed to have a Facebook account. Okay,
And
because of course class of fourth and
family,
fifth,
yeah, of course, got it, yeah.
right? And the idea was like my dad had it. Now
Hmm.
the issue is that let's say I don't think so I even had an email ID at that point of time.
Hmm.
So I was like, okay, like I don't have an email ID. I'm not allowed to create an account on Facebook, but I do want to be because that's where the
Hmm.
cool kids again are.
Yeah.
So exactly like what can we do? So the idea was that okay, hey, why can't I browse Facebook with my dad's account?
Okay.
But of course, dad's account being dad's account, he'll of course log out and stuff, and you'll never actually able to get access to it. So
Hmm.
at that point of time, I remember that the very new feature used to come in browser that was remember password in the browser.
Okay.
So
Okay.
like when you're logging everything, your email ID and this, you can click a remember password. So the
Remember
next time you
password.
don't have to
Yeah.
type it all over again.
Hmm.
Pretty simple. Now the thing is that like what I understood was that all that remember password was doing was just saving that in the browser itself. So
Hmm.
that the next time you open the browser, go to that same website, those credentials are fetched from there and you can like access it.
Hmm.
Makes perfect sense. And the next thing what I did was that I just enabled remember password for my dad. And the thing was he logged in, he logged out, but the
Huh?
credentials are now saved. And of
Oh.
course, it's the same machine like my home
Hmm.
machine, so that is that I got access to it. Now the thing that here, this is like still kid level stuff. What I
Of
would
course,
say.
fourth class you were in.
Yeah, right. But the next thing what I did was that like okay, if I can do this on my dad's machine,
Hmm.
I can go to the nearest internet cafe and do the same thing.
Okay.
And that is exactly what I did. So I went to the nearest internet cafe,
Hmm.
just went on all the like the hot internet websites,
Hmm.
enabled remember password on like Google, password on like
Facebook and
Orkut,
all other
Facebook,
places.
everything, and on 1020 machines
Oh. Okay.
because of course internet cafe, right?
uh,
So they had these 1020 machines, enabled that all, went home, came
hmm.
back a week later and it is exactly what like fishing feels like, like you have laid down the traps,
Exactly.
go and then you come back and then after that it's like the entire browsers are filled with all these login credentials and all. And like now I have like access to like most of the people who are using internet cafes, they are like gmails, their orkuts, their
Hmm.
Facebook, everything, because at that point of time internet cafes were still a big thing.
Hmm.
And once I got access to it, so this is still I'm like like in the whole that oh you know what, I'm so cool, I can do this, I can do that. But the thing is that when I started like I remember I like logged into someone's Facebook or maybe Orkut, and I
Hmm.
started like reading through their messages.
Okay.
And when I was doing that, and then I realized that okay, these are like serious stuff, right? Like this is
Yeah.
like someone's personal life, like someone's talking to someone and like sharing very intimate details of their lives. And
Hmm.
at that point of I realized that okay, you know what, this could be something bigger than just like bragging rights kind of thing.
Hmm.
And that is exactly what happened. Then like got into interested, like at that point I was like okay, this is exactly where my field is going to be,
Hmm.
and this is exactly what I'm going to do. And yeah, just kept honing my skills after that. So just like a small like a story after that till here, like
Hmm.
I know you have asked this earlier as well, but
Hmm.
the way that I did was that like once that like once you get hooked onto it,
Hmm.
you just keep learning about it, like like every time you can I used to have like I remember like this 1 hour or 2 hour session where only when I can like like use my computers. So like
Okay.
the first thing I used to do was open my computer, go to YouTube and all these kind of websites. And YouTube again, like data streaming and data was not cheap at that point of time,
Hmm.
as cheap as it is today. So like
I
again,
remember
like,
that 18
yeah,
recharge with a few MB.
exactly right.
Yeah.
So the thing is that like at that point of time we had to like okay, you know what, like I can only watch like three videos for the day kind of thing.
Hmm.
And okay, in three videos that exactly which one I have to watch and like do my research and do that. So you
Damn, it was
kept
difficult.
doing that. Yeah, oh for sure, for sure. Like right now I understand, because
Hmm.
again I don't want to be the same like person saying that oh the kids have it so easy, right? I don't want
Yeah.
to repeat that line, but like from our perspective, of course we had our own struggles and we had our own
Yeah.
easy, because
Hmm.
for us that time going out and playing was easy. Now people are like not finding a
Exactly.
place to
They
do
needed
that.
they need so-called
So
turf to go and play cricket. Like we used to have places to
yes,
play that. Yeah.
exactly
Got
right. So I think that that's a whole different conversation we can get
yeah,
into.
exactly.
But yeah, so that is exactly what I did till class 12th. Of course
Hmm.
around 10th I used to do it like more frequently. 11th,
Hmm.
12th the same, get into JE and all, so that kind of dropped off for me.
Hmm.
But again, the second I got back into college, it was like okay, I knew that of course I had to take CS or IT.
Hmm.
Got into college, and after that, like again, started honing my skills all over again.
Hmm.
I believe around third year ish, where I ended up hacking like the entire database of my college. So yeah, so that
Okay.
happened, and that like really catapulted me into this hole that now I have to like. It was still more of a inner want to
It
be
was
in
just a
cybersecurity.
curiosity at the very
Yes,
first. Okay.
but at that point of time, I was like, okay, I can genuinely make a career out of this, because once I
Mm-hmm.
did that, I started writing on Medium articles.
Mm-hmm.
On Medium also, like I believe I have around 3.5K followers or something. Like
Oh,
really good amount of people
at
started
that time,
coming in.
Medium was really okay. Good.
Yeah, yeah,
This
yeah.
amount of
And
followers are
people
really good on
started.
Medium. Mm.
Exactly, exactly. And like people started coming in, they started having, like interacting with my articles, reaching out to me. And at that point in time, I started getting internship offers from that. So like for a third year student, like who is like not even applying right now, getting internships offer internally was like already like, my mind clicked that,
Mm.
okay, you know what, like, this is like a proper career growth that I'm going to have in this, rather than like just like a fun moment as such.
Mm, got it.
So yeah, that happened. Landed my first job, like an internship job, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, never looked back from since then.
गॉट इट बट आदित्य ये चीज आजकल नहीं हो रहा ना वी कैन से हर कोई सीख रहा है साइबर
Uh,
सिक्योरिटी बट स्टेप इन नहीं कर पा रहे व्हाट डू यू थिंक इज अ प्रॉब्लम दीस डेज विद किड्स की वो स्टेप इन नहीं कर पा रहे
okay, so one thing that I would definitely say is कि bar जो है वो बहुत ऊपर हो गया है. कि like
हम्म
now the bar of you being good. So let's say for me, as I said, like in class fourth, like I did a remember password thing, and
हम्म
that was the bar because the bar was generally low.
हम्म
Now the thing is that the bar is moving higher with the whole amount of like tech coming in, AI coming in, and
हम्म
like people just getting smarter about it. At that point of
हम्म
time, tech or internet was still something like niche है ना. लाइक
हम्म
मतलब हाँ, कुछ कुछ लोग यूज करते हैं, बहुत लोग इज लाइक कि मेरा तो कभी अकाउंट था ही नहीं, तो क्या ही
हम्म
मतलब है. Right, but the thing is कि for us it was, for me it was very much clear कि I loved it, I continue to stay in it. But now everyone knows this, right? Like a good security practice is something like not every Tom, Dick and Harry follows. So
ओके
now the thing is कि like what I would say कि bar is higher, but the another thing is that like I would say like for, and that is I think is like one of the reasons why it has become really tough. And not just that, what I also believe is that you have to have a really passion for this, like for cybersecurity in general, which I understand that like it's very difficult to figure it out. For me, I'm
हम्म
extremely lucky that I was, while I was in class fourth and fifth, I figured it out that okay, this is my what my passion is, and I have been
हम्म
able to do it like what, not 20 years now, like
हम्म
around 20 years I have been able to figure out that yeah, this is exactly 15, 20 years that I'll do this. But
हम्म
yeah, I can understand that why it is very quite difficult for them these days.
हम्म
But yeah, just all that I would say is like get into this, be curious, get your hands dirty. That's like the
like
general stuff about it.
go around and figure out kind of thing but Aditya
Yeah,
let's
yeah,
take
yeah.
it a little bit practically okay now you run
Sure.
a company a cybersecurity company if you have to
Yeah.
hire an intern or a fresher would you hire the very first question would you even hire them
For us, I'll tell you that exactly what's happening is right now we have few people, like of course few employees on our team, and we really want to keep them with us,
mm-hmm.
because the idea is that for us, one of the reasons like why we hire is like, okay, of course it is very simple that either the company is growing very fast or a person which was already on board with our team is leaving. That's like the two major reasons that I can remember of like hiring.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to also understand that like let's say if the person is leaving, then it's just like a no brainer, we have to replace with someone else
Yeah.
talented enough, we do
Mm-hmm.
that. And but the thing is like when we hire, like when we now know that yes, we have to hire, what are we looking for then? That is the question, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the question at that point of time for these people are that one thing I have to understand, like a lot of the things, like when we were also growing up, like as I said, like in 10th and 11th, 12th, I was not able to focus on this cybersecurity much, because the whole that you have to crack a certain a college and all that, which I see is actually fading away. And that is like a very
Okay.
good thing happening in the industry. Means of course the pedigree is still there, like all those
Mm-hmm.
names are still there, so it still
Yeah,
gets
exactly. They
jobs and
still be
all.
there. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, but the idea is that like still it has faded out to a lot of distance, because with social media and everything, now you can just genuinely do something, put it out on YouTube, on Twitter or something, on LinkedIn,
Mm-hmm.
and get people interested in your what your work is. And
Mm-hmm.
once you get people interested in what your work is, and then at that point of time keep honing your skills, and of course someone or the other will be like, you know what, this is like brilliant job or task that this person is doing, and
Got
let
it.
me give them a give them an opportunity. Because
So
end
if
of the
yeah,
day,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, just to continue on that, end of the day, what we are looking from our engineers is
Mm-hmm.
for them to be able to carry out a certain task.
Mm-hmm.
And for us, it does not really matter if they are from X college or Y college. It's just
Exactly.
that this is exactly what our clients need. This is
Hmm.
what the expertise you need to have so that you can deliver this. And as long as they are able to deliver this, that's all that I
So
care at the end of
the
the day.
notion of that having an entitlement of that big colleges is not that much big of a deal these days. You need a
Not at all.
certain number of skill set, and you should be working on that, right?
100%, 100%.
Nice.
Because
Okay.
one,
Hmm.
this is like one statement my dad used to say, that if you're in the top 5% of anything, no matter
Hmm.
what you do, like if you're like a really good sweeper, right,
Hmm.
you'll still get a like a amazing, brilliant job at some place all the time, right? So that's the whole idea, that you have to be in that, like, aim should be that, be in the top
Okay.
5, top 10%, and once you are, then like no matter what you do, and this is the same
Okay.
about cybersecurity as well.
Yeah, okay. So if you can tell me practically what kind of skills do you expect from them? So the kids these days, whoever is in the call, like first year or second year,
Yeah.
they don't know how to step in. That's something we can talk about later. I think that's content is gonna
Mhm.
be there. But what kind of skill those kids or those students should learn to step in into the market?
Okay, so when we're talking about the skills that they should learn, the first thing is like what I will want to say is like, let's talk about the definition of cybersecurity, or like hacking first.
Yeah.
Okay, all hacking is about is you are able to do a certain thing
Hmm.
which was not intended. So let's say if I'm able to drive a car which is supposed to, let's say, drive at 100 kilometers per hour,
Hmm.
right? And I'm able to take this to 120. That
Hmm.
is also hacking. Like that is, first of all, you have to get the right idea in our brain that exactly what hacking is. Just 1 second.
Sure.
Okay, there's an emergency alert due to rains. I think that
Oh,
like on my phone. Yeah, yeah.
so which state you are right now in? Kahan pe ho aap?
Right now I'm in Bangalore. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so it's raining there. Got it,
So
got it.
yeah, yeah. So it was like an emergency alert by the government. Yeah, yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Okay, so what I was saying was that like right now, sorry, I just lost my train of thought. Can you just tell me like where we were?
What kind of skill those students should have to step in into the
Yes.
market? And you were explaining what hacking actually is.
Exactly, yeah. So talking about hacking, like let me first start with that. And like the whole point about hacking is that you are able to do something which is not intended to do. So
Hmm.
as long as, like, let's say if you're able to drive a car which is supposed to be driven at 100 kilometers per hour, and you're able to drive it at 120, that also is hacking. Like if you're able to, like right in front of me, I have a light here, okay, and the light needs to have a luminosity of x value,
Hmm.
and if you're able to do it like x plus y, right, then that
Hmm.
also is hacking. So you have to understand that all hacking is that you have to do something that was not intended. Now once you get that particular point in mind, the second thing that you have to keep in mind is that how can you do that, like how are you able to achieve that. So the only way to do that is to have a very very good understanding about the nitty gritty of how that stuff works.
Hmm.
So I can only make a car go faster than what it already does today if I understand that exactly how engine works, how, the entire, you have to
The
understand the
infrastructure
entire
of that car,
mechanisms.
mechanism of
Exactly,
that.
you have to understand the wheels, everything you have to understand, like the brake pedaling and everything. And once you do understand that, then you start to see that, okay, you know what, I can tweak this to make the car faster, or I can do, because like nowadays like so many people are like interested into F1, and that
Hmm.
is exactly that. That's like a very very beautiful way of saying that the F1 is genuinely hacking of cars. That we
Hmm.
are every day, all the engineers, like the best of the best engineers, are working on how we can hack the car in such a way that we can get more power from this car or from the engine and get this car drive a bit more faster.
Hmm.
And as long as you understand that and develop that mindset, because hacking in the sense, like in the sense hacking or cybersecurity, you can still, it is of course hard work. You have
Hmm.
to grit through it. You have to like understand, like, OS fundamentals. You have to understand networking. You have to understand, like, OS fundamentals. Networking is of course there, and on top of that, how everything interacts with each other. Like, exactly like how does internet work. Like let's say when we are on a video call right now, if I click on a button, like let's say if I click on a close button, exactly what happens for this machine and for the internet to understand that we are trying to terminate the call or we are trying to start a call, right? So
Okay.
once you understand everything in those nitty gritties, at that point of time, it's like, it's like matrix. Like till the time you don't get it, it
Hmm.
feels like, what, like, okay, I don't know like how things work. But the second it clicks that, oh, you know what, this is exactly how it works, then you like start seeing in a whole different dimension. And that is something that I would say, that's like the actual mindset perspective.
Okay,
So
so
yeah.
in short, you want to say that cybersecurity just rather than a skill, it's a whole lifestyle kind of thing. Whatever you do,
Oh,
whatever you are
100%.
looking at, like you
100%.
should have this in the back of your mind कि क्या क्या चल रहा है.
Yeah,
For
yeah,
example,
yeah.
when you are in content, you listen to someone speaking, always in the back of your mind. Why the script like that? Why what's their tonality? Something like
Yes.
that, just for the cybersecurity as well.
Exactly, exactly. And the another thing is that I have to say is that of course you need to have that. And another that's the first mindset of understanding everything to the basics. That is point one, and not the first principles, as you might say. And the second thing is that how can I break it?
Hmm.
How can I break it is like, okay, like let's say if a door is supposed to open like this, what can I do to, like, let's say, like remove the door hinges, and like now you don't even have a door and you can just directly bypass, right?
Okay.
So the thing is like, and so like let's say it's very very simple, right? So like the door example that I'm giving you, so the idea that was going in my mind right now when I was explaining the example to you, so let's say there's a lock and there's a
Hmm.
latch on it, and on the latch you have a lock, right?
Hmm.
And the whole idea is that like now normal people would think that, okay, you know what, like I have to open this lock and only then I can bypass, right? So there's, of course, there's a whole aspect about this, but you have to understand that all that a door is doing is covering an area. If
Hmm.
you can, like, like just remove the hinges and just remove it, the lock can very much stay there, you just walk from the side, right? So that is exactly what you have to think about it. And once you keep, and this is like a, what I would say is like a muscle in the brain, you have to develop this, because most of the people on the very first go do not think of that. Like, one of the reasons I have a very simple code that, like, if we had perfect developers in the world,
Hmm.
there
Hmm.
would be no requirement for a cybersecurity job, because they would just think about every situation and
Hmm.
build for every situation, and there was not no security issues to tackle in the first place. But the thing is, like, normal developers just do not, and it's not like a bad thing on developers, they
Hmm.
know what they are good at,
Hmm.
right? But at the same time, building that mindset of
Hmm.
being able to, like, see everything from a perspective of how I can break this
Hmm.
is a muscle memory that you have to, like, you have to build, which I think is very very important if you want to
So
be in a
at the end
cyber.
of the day, it's a clash between two brains. One is trying to close it, another is trying to open that door.
Oh yeah,
Simple as that.
yeah, yeah, 100%, 100%. Again,
Got it.
like, as everyone says, that this is a very cat and mouse kind of thing.
Yeah,
So they
exactly.
figure out some security, and you figure out, okay, now this is the way I can break this. So yeah,
Got it. Aditya, let's take a hypothetical situation. कि
yeah,
Aditya इसी साल में Aditya is a student in the third year of the college. He has that mindset. He has
yes,
that everything, every skill set for the cyber security. Now he's
hmm,
going on LinkedIn practically applying on every single job available, and he is getting no
yeah,
replies. This is really
yes,
common. I can see a few of my
yes,
friends who have the skill set who can go into the market. They try to apply for the job and they get nothing in return. Why is that,
yes.
and how to solve this?
Okay, so I'll be very very clear, because like even before, like, we got on a call in the morning,
Hmm.
so it's like what, 12 in the morning, around 10:30 ish. Someone
Hmm.
called me that,
Hmm.
okay, you know what, like we have our numbers on our website, so they called us that, okay, like, you know what, we are looking for internship, and like right now, can we, do you have an opportunity, and can we like work with you and all that. So
Hmm.
first of all, I would say is that one thing you have to understand, Pavinder, there is a huge majority of students who think they have the skills, but they generally don't. Now,
Hmm.
I'll tell you, there's of course another aspect of it. I'll come to
Hmm.
that. But right now, I definitely want to talk about this particular aspect, because when, so for me, the answer was pretty simple that, okay, fine, you know what, we're not hiring right now, but send us your resume, right? Let me have a look at it. And if I genuinely think that if it is like really good, then maybe like tomorrow or day after tomorrow, when we are actually end up hiring, we'll give you a call. And they shared their resume with us, and this was like a third yearish, maybe even final year student, and sent their resume, and it was a very underwhelming experience for me, because the idea was that the resume itself was very very bland, like something like, as I said, that the bar has risen up. So if
Hmm.
you still continue to be on the same level of what, let's say, I was when I was actually in college,
Hmm.
right? If you still are on the same level, it will just not be, you have to be better than the previous generation. That's like the basic idea. And right now what we are seeing is that, like, there's a lot of theoretical knowledges that is being still being peddled, specifically in cybersecurity, which is like, I think that that's like the worst thing that can happen in cybersecurity, because it is a very very hands-on job,
Hmm.
cybersecurity. And I still see that people are still thinking that, like, if they have like a maybe certification or two, or and that is all that they need. But like, as I mentioned to you earlier as well, that what we are generally looking for is, like, what is the crazy projects that you have worked on, what are the brilliant hacks that you have carried out, what are the amazing bug bounties that you have figured out, right? And like, which are the biggest MNCs that you managed to break their security. And once we see that, right, then, like, for us also, because as we say that there's a bullshit indicator, we like having worked 8 years in cybersecurity, you can very easily understand that okay, where this guy is on which level, right?
Mm-hmm.
Having interviewed like what 100 ish people in the past 3 4 years, I can very much easily say that okay, you know what, this guy is like a 4, or this guy
Mm-hmm.
is like 10, or this guy is like a 7. And right now one is where I see is like there's a genuine lack between what the expected, as I mentioned to you earlier, that like I want end of the day a result from you.
Yeah.
Like that's the reason, like we are paying you X amount of money because there's a Y amount of outcome that you can get
Outcome
for
you
this.
expect from them. Yep.
But the thing is that like let's say like for us we are paying you X, but I can't see like Y, like leave Y, like I can't even see 0.5 Y, right? Like at
Mm-hmm.
that point of time it's like okay, you know what, this is not making sense. Like even if I do want to hire at that point of time, I'll be like, keep bro, like you are just not the candidate for us. So that is one. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that we are also seeing is that right now for organizations, we are, you have to understand from an organization perspective that we are rewarded for being as good as possible on automation, on keeping our costs low, because that actually helps us earn more, or earn more per employee, as you can see, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that is where we realize that right now for us to have, if we genuinely have a good of really talented employees, the output that they are able to deliver for us with automations, AI, and all these tools has just went through the roof.
Okay.
Because I'll tell you, like this is like a very, this is a moment that I remember. This is the first day that we used ChatGPT, right?
Okay.
So the first day, this is like in I believe the December-ish, 2022, I believe, like during COVID and all. So
Mm-hmm.
it was literally one of the first days that I used ChatGPT, and we were supposed to put out a job hiring on that day.
Okay.
Okay, so it's like in the afternoon, we were supposed to put it out at 5 in the evening, and we had the meeting around 2 o'clock. When one of my security engineers, he said like, we need everyone to get on a call because I have just discovered a brilliant tool, and we need to check this out, right?
Okay.
And everyone got on like a stand up, and everyone like figured out that exactly what the tool was, and then we started playing around with it, and we were like just blown, like, oh my god, this is like life changing, right?
This was the
And
like first experience with
first
ChatGPT. हर
experience
किसी
with
का ही
chat.
same था. Yep.
Yes, right. And this is like, my goodness, like it is like giving answers about everything in any field, right? For us,
Mm-hmm.
of course, we are like, okay, like what are the security things that we can get done, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that is exactly at that point of time we realized that, like, you know what, like, and we didn't end up putting that hiring thing because we are
Okay.
like, hey, what we are expecting those guys to do,
The
these
AI is already
what
doing it.
this is already doing it, right? Like, so what am I? So that is something that I realized that like the amount of results that one employee, at the end of the day, I said that we are paying you X to get Y, and
Mm-hmm.
that Y has just like gone through the roof right now.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, the thing is that like the genuine requirement of us to hire people has
Mm-hmm.
also quite gone down. So
Okay.
both
Nice.
of these, like the skills not being there and then the requirement also going down, both together is like really hitting on, like the market,
Got
and
it.
which I
Got
can
it.
100% understand.
Got it. Actually, this was a question that was supposed to come later down the line in the podcast, but we already stepped into
Uh-huh.
the AI field. So,
Yeah.
Aditya, क्या लगता है कि with the AI in this era, AI is
Hmm.
like AI can be leveraged by the students in the cybersecurity to step into the market, or it's just gonna eat their job. Like example, we have a like a cloud
Yeah.
design आया हुआ है, and it's going as
Yes.
a FOMO that it's gonna eat the UI UX designer's job, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone knows that. But in reality, it's not. It's just gonna take all of their work, which was supposed to be manual. It's not gonna
Yeah.
like replace all the UI. It's the still taste, the psychology, the brand designing, everything is still gonna be there, and it's gonna be a human touch, right?
Yeah.
So in the cybersecurity field, is AI actually taking over the job, or is it just leveraging students to step into the market?
Okay, okay. So that is first of all a brilliant question and something that we definitely need to, like put some time into this. And what I would like to say is that right now, if there's one field where I
Hmm.
see jobs increasing, is
Hmm.
cybersecurity,
With the help of
and
AI.
that is no, that is because AI is nowhere as good as people are telling it to be.
Huh. Okay. Let's
Yes,
go ahead. Let's
and
discuss about it.
yeah, exactly right. So the thing is that for us, as I mentioned to you earlier as well, that right now with our engineers, we have really 10x, no, not 10x, but like we have definitely like 3x to 4x the amount of work that they're able to do. But at the same time, why I'm saying this contradictory statement that like okay, AI is not really as good as we want think it to be, is
Mm-hmm.
because we are leveraging, when once you start leveraging AI and genuinely start to use it, you
Mm-hmm.
realize that there are genuine shortcomings that are still there in the models that are coming out. And like right now, just for everyone to understand, Opus 4.7 is the latest model out there.
Yeah, yeah, Cloud.
And people need to understand that even as of today, like the thing is that these models are not really, code it and forget it.
Mm-hmm.
There's still a very manual hand holding that is still required. It
Mm-hmm.
is getting very very good, no doubt about that. But
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, with like Codex 5.5 or like like Opus 4.7, these are still in a place where you still have to be there, see exactly which direction it is going, and keep directing it. And especially if you're not from that field, so let us say if I tomorrow pick up like crowd design and think I can make a design on my own, that's
It's
like the
not
biggest
possible.
nightmarish issue that I'm going to face. And
Mm-hmm.
that is exactly what we need to understand, and that is exactly what's happening in designing and development, code development and all as well, where we are seeing that a lot of people who aren't really coders, who
Mm-hmm.
don't really understand the nitty-gritty of these stuff,
Mm-hmm.
thinking that they can build one shot it, as they call it these days, that like I can just like tell Claude, build me a $1 million business, make no mistakes, right? And the hope is that like Claude will figure it out everything and build it for you. Is
Mm-hmm.
where exactly what we are seeing is that a lot of cybersecurity issues are popping up. And like the thing is that like if anyone wants to like open the news feed, go on cybersecurity and see the amount of cybersecurity hacks that are happening. And I'm not talking about like these small businesses, I'm talking about the largest of the businesses out that are out there. It
Mm-hmm.
is just crazy. Like there are times when ours, like us and our security engineers, we are not able to keep up with the amount of hacks that are coming up right now. And
Okay.
that is like something that we are seeing, because the thing is like again, the whole industry has shifted towards this speed mentality, that we have to keep pushing and keep grinding and like get more features out there, which is good. Like of course, like you move fast, you break things, and then you move faster all over again, learn from that and go forward. But what we have also seen is that in this whole journey of trying to move fast, now it is so fast that like the only thing that is happening is accidents.
Okay.
And that is exactly what's happening. So right now the thing is that I think that's my assumption from, and like not just assumption, because like now we are getting a lot more client calls. People are
Okay.
reaching out to us over and over again that okay, hey, you know what, like with the compliances, like the data privacy compliances that are coming in Indian market and even outside of India, is where people are outright saying that like now this is becoming a big factor. So like two three things that are what I see is kind of lining up in favor of cybersecurity. Is one, of course, blind adoption of AI. AI
Mm-hmm.
itself, like a proper adoption, is great, and that's
Mm-hmm.
why where I'm saying that like we are seeing the 3x 4x benefits. But the thing is that where someone tries to like make it 100x by trying to one shot it, it
Mm-hmm.
only is going to backfire within a few months, where like a security engineer like us will have to come in and help them get out of that tricky situation. So that is something that I see is going to be beneficial for us. And the other thing that I'm seeing is that the regulations and all are coming into the market, which are again pushing the need for like having cybersecurity from a government compliance perspective. And from just like the bigger organizations, they are only working with these vendors who are genuinely secure and getting all these VAPTs, like services which security offers. And once they get this, and because that's the reason we can understand that and we can see that increase, because we are getting those extra number of phone calls
Of
that okay,
course.
you know what, guys, like we got hacked and like we have no idea what to do, help us. Or guys, you know what, like there's this huge business opportunity I have, like we are about to land this client, and they
Mm-hmm.
have just said that okay, you know what, you need to have a VAPT report with you, and you
Mm-hmm.
don't have a VAPT report, we won't do business. And at that point of time, they reach out to us in a panic situation that okay, guys, this is like a big deal for us, we can't lose that, let's get this security testing done, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
think it is only going to get better in the next 4 5 years. I think that's going to be like a boom time for security. But at
Mm-hmm.
the same time, the bar has gone up. You can't stay here and expect the boom to hit you. You have to raise the bar to this level, and once you hit that level, then like literally
You
the sky is the limit.
got it, got it, got it. Okay, आदित्य, as we have discussed earlier कि अभी AI का तो हमने discuss कर लिया, सब चीज़ें discuss हो गई
Yep.
हैं. Like example, you have the skill set, you have everything. Now you are applying, you are getting no jobs done.
Yes.
Even if you have
Yep.
the skills, you mentioned
Yep.
something that you like. Example, you posted on Medium. That was your first
Yes.
step into the market. That was the way you just went into that bubble, right? You
Yeah,
pop that bubble and you just stepped into the market. Do you think it is important for student these days, whatever they are doing, should upload it? Is it like one of the best ways to step into the market?
I would say, and for anyone listening to this podcast, I'd say if listen to this line, it
Hmm.
is extremely critical that you do
Hmm.
that. The
Okay.
reason I'll tell for this is that in this day and age where our attention span is going down the drain,
Hmm.
our the amount of information we are bombarded with is like so much that we can't even fathom.
Hmm.
It has to be very very clear and critical that you showcase your work, because I, as a, let's say, CEO, or my CTO Satya, we just do not have the time to think or put in the time to see that what you were doing. We like, there's this thing that I tell to like most of the students, like for us, we do not use ATS tools. We still rely that okay, like a human has to see that, because there's a
Yeah.
lot of things that like the ATS tools misses out, so we do not rely on that. We still do it ourselves. But the thing is, even though we do it ourselves, 5 to 10 seconds is max that we give to every resumes. So because the thing is that there's like for us, I'll tell you like this to just to put understanding about the people who are applying, that exactly what the numbers look like. For one internship position that we put out like around a year back, we had around 700 people apply for it. Okay, and once you get that you are competing with 700 people for an internship position, then you get the understanding that exactly how different or how standout you have to be able to really make me curious to spend a minute, to even spend a minute on your resume. And that is exactly what I want the people to understand about, that right now for them they have to build their whole portfolio and their resumes and everything in such a way that it has to not just stand out, but I need to like very much clearly see the work that they have done. So let's say if you have put, so okay, I'll just take you like through a generation of how these enhancements have happened. Like earlier, people used to do just projects, but they did
Hmm.
not even put their GitHub accounts, like
Okay.
their GitHub
Yeah.
portfolios next to it. Then it started happening that people started putting their project description about it and their GitHub portfolios around it. But the people who were like standing out at that point of time, what they're doing is that they're not just the GitHub portfolio, but they also hosted out on, let's say, AWS, or let's say Azure. They also hosted their solution so that you can not only just see their code, but you can also test it out for yourself, and then genuinely get that exactly how this website looks like or how this product works or whatever, right?
Hmm.
And then that is the way. And the next thing that I'm seeing people do now is that they are saying that, like, you know what, I made this, let's say, mobile application, right? I made this mobile application, I made this secure, and I also have these many customers for it. So I've already sold it to, like, or I have already have, it's a free tool, I'm not selling it, but I still at least have like this 100 downloads, 500 downloads, right? So this, you have to figure out that what is that next step. Or let's say I am a security engineer, and let's you are also a security engineer, but I am creating a content where like hundreds of people are watching it or thousands of people are watching it, whereas
Hmm.
you are just a security engineer and that's it, right? So of course I stand out clearly in front of you, right? And that is exactly what I want the people to understand right now, that if your resume is the same as your friends next to you,
Hmm.
then both of you are not standing out in the this. But the thing is that, like, if your resume does not outright be seen as better
Hmm.
than, let's say, your friend's resume, that is exactly when the benefits start to show up, and that is when you start to, like, get those calls back from these interviews. So that is what I would say.
Got it. आदित्य, आज तक कभी ऐसा हुआ है कि आपने किसी को हायर करा हो जस्ट फ्रॉम वाचिंग देयर कंटेंट ऑन लिंक्डइन कि इसने बहुत अच्छा करा हुआ है rather than just applying for a job and watching all those resume कि उनका प्रोफाइल देख लिया, you just saw their like content randomly and you're like, hey, damn, this is good. An example like you or your friend or someone in your team does that.
Yes, so we have done that, number
Hmm.
one. And number two is, but we do not directly hire them. What I mean by that is, we do then one interview. Normally, our process is you submit a resume.
Hmm.
We give you like a, what do you say? We give you like an assignment. You have to carry out, like, let's say, a take home assignment. You do it within a week, come back to us. And then the third is, then we carry out an interview. And once you clear all these three things, then we hire. As simple as that.
Hmm.
But the thing is, let's say if a person is genuinely, like, let's say, that good, right? Then we skip the resume part. we skip their take home assignment part. We directly do an interview, because the thing is that I still believe that one interview is important, because the interview is not about seeing that how talented you are, but it's more about, are you the right fit to join our company. You could be extremely talented, but you could just be a very very snobbish person. So I don't want you, like I respect your talents, but I
Yeah.
just don't want you to be working with us, right? Or you could be extremely arrogant. I never know. So the interview is more about like, I won't really say it's an HR kind of thing. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's not the 100% the idea about behind this, but that is also something that we keep in mind. That are you a person which is extremely talented but just does not speak? Let's say, or you just you're like so introverted that you just can't talk, right? So those are all the things that we keep in mind to understand that, okay, you know what, like we go through these all those things during the interview. But yes, we have definitely skipped people who have skipped the first and the second process entirely, just because like we have seen their content is good, we have seen that they have done so many bug bounties, we have seen that, like, their hacker one, yeah, so bug bounties for hacker one and for bug crowd. But at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, there is like hack the box, there's like try hack me and all those kind of tools and out there where they can also practice. And
Mm-hmm.
there I can see that their ranks are like in the top 1 percentile or 2 percentile, right? At that point of time, it becomes like very much clear that, yeah, sure, this person is already talented, so now we
Mm-hmm.
do not need to check that aspect of it. But we still need to check from a perspective that, like, are they a good fit for our company, and can they like, like properly gel with the people that we have.
Got it. That's a great. Okay, Aditya, like let's wrap up it. I think बहुत लंबा हो गया podcast. Let's keep it to one more
Sure.
topic I want to discuss on.
Yeah,
Aditya, what
yeah.
do you think about the geopolitical take about cybersecurity right now? Like a lot of things are happening. Israel वाला incident हो गया, USA वाला incident हुआ
Yes.
था. Should we go
Yes.
into that field? Are you interested?
Yeah, we can definitely talk about this. And what I would say right now is that this is something I actually like. Even from these things, what I really want to discuss is, I'll talk about the Russia Ukraine thing.
Russia,
And the
Ukraine.
Russia Ukraine thing is why I would say that, like, one of, and this is like a very clear cut, because of course now, sadly, war has been so common, like literally, like no matter which part of the country of the world you, like, put a finger on, something bad is happening. But the Russia Ukraine was like kind of the beginning, as you can say, of the modern era war,
Wars.
at least for us.
Hmm.
And what I would say is that, like, in Russia Ukraine, one of the first things that happened was not a missile being fired, but
Hmm.
one of their thermal power plant of Ukraine getting hacked by a Russian, hacking army.
Okay.
And that is exactly one of the things I want to mention here, is that in an age as modern as today,
Hmm.
we can cause a lot more damage via these cyber hacks than by dropping a bomb. And like, again, in a statement that, like, that is a very scary statement to say, but that is again extremely truthful. In
Hmm.
an age where we are so connected, where all our data, our lives are, everything is online, you
Hmm.
can genuinely cause more damage by a cyber attack than this. And the whole idea, that is exactly what the Russians did, that it entirely took the thermal power grid offline. And once you take that offline, the thing is, normally it's like, okay, you know what, line, like the power got cut, what more. But the thing is that, think about the person in the hospital who was surviving on a critical ICU, and for them the power got cut, they died. That is what happened, right? The amount of the, think about the things that, like, the food being kept in storage, which was supposed to be on certain temperature, and because that got ruined, now like there are thousands of people who are starving. And that is exactly what it can happen, just by what, like, all you did was like just take out a power grid. But that is the kind of the, tertiary and the secondary and the tertiary effect that can have, which you realize that is like a lot more danger than,
Hmm.
what you dropped a bomb and like you killed 100 people, but in this way you're killing thousands or maybe even more by a cyber
Without
attack.
having any liability that you killed them.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. And that is exactly the scary part of it. It does not clearly visible, so it feels less threatening. But
Hmm.
of course, in done properly, this could be extremely dangerous. And that is exactly one of the things that I'm also afraid about, these Claude, Mythos, and like these kind of tools.
Hmm.
I like, to me, Claude, Mythos and all these things, to a certain degree, is also hype, that they
Hmm.
also have to sell their story
Yeah,
to
exactly. I was
justify
thinking
their
the same about
valuations.
it. Yep.
Yeah, to justify their valuations, but at the same time, they're not entirely off. It's
Hmm.
not like if they're saying that we can do 10x, they can actually do 3x.
Hmm.
Maybe not 10x, yes, I get that, but
Hmm.
the thing is that 3x is what they can do, and the 3x can genuinely affect like people in real world, in real lives. Like, imagine, like, okay, fine, you're not able to break into the cyber security of, let's say, the HDFC banks or the ICCA banks, but
Hmm.
what if you're able to break into like a small cooperative bank and just take the money out of from there? That is still a decent amount of money, and that is still affecting the hundreds of people, if not thousands. And
Okay.
that is exactly what we have to understand, like not every bank out there is like keeping the best security practices. Like, we know we are working with financial institutions and we are working with health tech institutions, and we
Hmm.
realize that, like, from our point of view, we expect that, okay, you know what, there is this app, I log in here, all my data comes up, and then I do my transactions. But it's a
Hmm.
lot more complicated than just that, and that is
Yeah.
something that we definitely have to keep in mind.
Okay, that is a scary part. AI is being actually scary, like the way they show in movies.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
so
100%.
okay, Aditya, I think that's good. If you have to give a last intake from your side to, if a student is listening to it, he's like the end of the
Yeah.
podcast, and you have to give him a quick thought, okay, what he should move forward, or what he should do, what would that be?
Okay, so right now, like, I'll take all the conversations that we have had and like kind of sum it down to like two three pointers.
Hmm.
First is definitely be curious,
Hmm.
develop the hacker mentality,
Hmm.
and third is go out and just do it. You know,
Hmm.
and fourth is once you do it, publish it and showcase it to the world. If you can
Okay.
keep this doing this in a cycle, in a loop,
Hmm.
right? Be curious about a technology that comes out. Let's say there's a new technology, like, because someday AI was that new technology, right?
Yeah,
Just be
exactly.
curious about it,
Hmm.
understand exactly how it works and how can you break it.
Hmm.
Actually go ahead and do break it and
Hmm.
publish it in the market, and then you do this cycle over and over again. And once you do it for enough number of times, you just become like, you then become the top 5 or 10%, as I was talking about. And once you become come in that top 5 to 10% of the entirety of the population who is trying to do this, at that point of time, like, the number of opportunities that are going to open for you is going to be immense. It is going to be tough, as I mentioned again, that yes, the our current employees are already able to do 10x or the 3x of the work, but at the same time, and the requirement for us to hire people are going down, and the people who are applying to us, they genuinely do not have the right set of skills as well. So those things are definitely weighing down. But if you still somehow you are able to cross that barrier and get into the top 5%, top 10%, then literally sky's the limit. Like, every company is like trying to hire a candidate like that. So I
Got it.
don't
Got
think you'll have like a dearth of job then.
Got it. So the myth of that freshers are not allowed into the cybersecurity market is totally a myth.
No.
The reality is you are
Yeah,
just
yeah.
looking for the top of the funnel, top of the cream layer available out there. And to
Yes,
do
yes.
that, there is an exact roadmap. Is do your work, be curious about it, post it online, let the people know, and someone like Aditya will sure reach out to you for your job or internship.
100%, 100%, yeah. And even if they don't reach out at that point of time, if you go ahead and apply for a job, I can still see those brilliant things that you have done in your resume,
Hmm.
and then you stand out. Because again, as we were talking about this earlier as well, you have to do something to stand out, because that keeps my attention focused on your resume for like even for 5 seconds longer. That is already like 30% more than I'm going to spend on anyone else.
So, like the person who called you, if he had done the same, rather than just sending his resume, if he would have attached his LinkedIn profile with it, if he had posted a content over there, it would have been a like
Yeah,
charm. It would have worked like a
of
charm.
course, yeah, yeah. If you would have said that, you know what, and this is like what I'll tell, that like genuinely wanted to have one person, we just did not have the requirement for it, but this person like very much reached out to us, say that, okay, hey, this is what my name is. I'm already in the cybersecurity field in the for the past, let's say, X amount of years that I have been working into this. And after that, he mentioned that, like, you know what, like, I have already carried out, like, let's say, hacks on companies A, B, and C, which are like again
Hmm.
multinational companies. And after that, the thing is that, like, right now I am already have worked on two different projects, which are again one of the cutting edge projects.
Hmm.
And just this is what, no resume, nothing. This is like a LinkedIn message that they sent to me. And I got so excited with them. I told them, like, bro, this is my phone number, call me. And we
Oh,
got on a call properly and everything, and we realized that right now the person is like still in the second year or third year. And like, we are not, first of all, we don't have the requirement, and we are not hiring that early. We are expecting like at least third year end or fourth year to hire for interns. But the another thing was that, like, the person had like just one or two shortcomings in his whole resume, and I just showed, like, take 6 months, you can easily get these things resolved. And once you get these resolved, reach out to us. I'll be more than happy to hire you if like I have a position at that point of time.
Damn,
So
that's
that is that.
impressive. That impressive.
It's
So
like
people
two
are out
people.
there doing. Yeah,
Oh
exactly.
yeah, 100%, 100%. People are doing that, but it's just that that is so rare. Like for me to be able to remember that showcases to you that like how rare it is. Because for
Hmm.
us, we get like 3 calls a day, at least,
Hmm.
if not more.
Hmm.
Right? So that is that.
Got it. Got it. So even if the bar is really high, there is still a roadmap and a breakdown for it that you can do this
100%.
and you can
100%.
step in
Yeah.
into the market. Thanks,
Again, like
Aditya.
just
Yeah,
to
sure, sure. Go ahead.
reiterate that, it's like literally be curious,
Hmm.
have the hacker mindset,
Hmm.
go out and do it, publish it in the market, and then again repeat the cycle. That's
That's
it.
great. That's great. Aditya, thanks for the podcast. I think your input was really, really appreciated. It was like one of the best productive podcast. And I think every student who is listening to this would be sure now where they have to go, how to follow the roadmap, and
Yeah.
what they have to do to step into this bubble. And yeah, thanks Aditya for showing in the
Sure,
podcast.
of course, of course.
It
I'm
was
grateful that I could be of
it was
some
a
help.
really great talking to you, man. Okay, let's see. Yeah, let's
Sure.
connect soon and let's discuss more. If there is like new topic, I think we guys can discuss. Let's go for the second part of
Yeah.
the podcast. There is a world out there to discuss about cybersecurity, and we sure will do that
Yeah.
soon. Okay,
Hundred
Aditya.
percent. 100%. Thank you so much,
Nice
man.
talking. You're welcome.
Bye bye.